Hello, class and Dr. T. This is Fernando Fernandez, and I will be going over my research-based capstone presentation on quantifying the effects of fulfillment at work. During this presentation, we will be going over the following. We will be going over the background information of this study, as well as its purpose. We will be going over the research questions that were posed, the literature review that was conducted, my methodology of my study, as well as the results, and lastly, to conclude with any final thoughts and recommendations. These next two slides, we will be going over the background and purpose of this research. The evolution of the workplace can be the forefront of discussion for many employers as well as employees. Most organizations have been identifying stronger avenues for employee retention, and employees have been on the hunt for a more satisfying role. Considering the current work-from-home arrangements, the need to continue monitoring employee satisfaction and performance is yet again a major topic in the modern workplace. Organizations have had a continued challenge of improving performance outcomes while simultaneously maintaining workplace satisfaction. Over the last decade, many researchers have studied the contributions to human sustainability within organizations, and various factors such as job demands, basic needs, strain, and workplace performance have been studied to measure the overall satisfaction of their employees at work. An interest in studying the relationship of job satisfaction arose from a study conducted by Alvarez and Cindy Cantorna, which discussed the relationship of self-employed individuals and their overall job satisfaction. Research investigations up to this point continue to interpret that positive relationship of satisfaction and performance exists in the workplace. The idea of empowerment in the workplace has saturated organizational development studies in recent years. The researchers argue that empowered employees are more satisfied with their job. However, due to the subjectivity of satisfaction, I want to further investigate what brings a person satisfaction. The objective of this study is twofold. First, this study will assess the impact of satisfaction in the workplace from job resources, job demands, basic need satisfaction, strain, and workplace performance. In addition, this study will also identify how the measurement of employee satisfaction can help an organization. Recent studies have suggested that overall job performance, organizational commitment, and career advancement opportunities provide a direct correlation to employee satisfaction and motivation. The two research questions that were posed is number one, how do job resources, job demands, basic need satisfaction, strain, and workplace performance contribute to the overall satisfaction of employees? This first question seeks to distinguish the many contributions and factors to overall employee satisfaction. The second question is, in what ways are emotional and behavioral responses measured to determine satisfaction was achieved? Now, this question will challenge how the factors resulting in workplace satisfaction is measured to quantify that workplace satisfaction was achieved. As an ever-changing workforce, many companies are attempting to minimize workplace turnover. The many causes of workplace turnover can be identified to increase employee retention. This review will focus on the measurement of impacts of workplace satisfaction. There are many studies that have been conducted that correlates the trends of several factors against workplace satisfaction. The encountered research discusses the many factors contributing to workplace satisfaction, the factors of which include work-life balance, employee performance, employee empowerment, and employee engagement that have a direct and indirect relationship to satisfaction on the job. Within the literature review, we will identify the studies that contribute to the theory of empowerment, motivation, and organizational commitment. A study conducted by Hussein et al. In 2018 provided a clear indication of work-life balance, job satisfaction, and organizational commitment that had a significant relationship with employee performance. A study conducted by Kelleher et al. In 2018 provided another alternative focus on what is characterized as work-life. In 2008, Gilboa et al. Conducted an examination of 7 work-related stressors, such as role overload, role ambiguity, role conflict, job insecurity, work-family conflict, environmental uncertainty, and situational constraints that contribute to the analysis between job performance. In 2011, an author by K. Maz indicated a positive correlation in regards to performance and motivation. Another study conducted by Orgambides Ramos et al. In 2017 also further substantiated this theory by studying the impact of stress and job satisfaction through the psychological empowerment in the workplace. Within the context of empowerment, 2 researchers speculated that there is a significant relationship of workplace empowerment that associates with job satisfaction. These outcomes can be generalized to associate a variable of empowerment and overall workplace satisfaction. Evidence regarding the relationship of satisfaction and engagement is summarized by a study by Harder et al. Within their study, the concepts of employee satisfaction and the overall engagement of the business unit is explored. In 2002, Harder et al. Established a connection and implied that the changes in management practices increases the employee satisfaction rates that subsequently also increased in productivity and profits. A similar approach to measuring job satisfaction and employee engagement is conducted by Wesley Peters. In the 2018 Peters study, the purpose was to investigate the many dimensions that predict job satisfaction along with employee engagement to staff in Namibia. Based on the findings, Peters inferred that there are key differences in the intrinsic predictors to job satisfaction and extrinsic predictors. Jalal Hanesha elaborated further and provided additional insight to the testing of effects on workplace engagement and the work environment. Hanesha arrived at the conclusion in his study that the work environment had a significant effect on organizational commitment. What came out of the study was additional insight to leaders of higher education institutions to adopt effective practices to increase the competitiveness and performance of their staff. The studies measuring the impact of workplace satisfaction provided additional substance to further research the topics. Within the literature revealed a diversity of inferences in work-life balance, employee performance, employee empowerment, and employee engagement that has a direct and indirect relationship to satisfaction on the job. A renewing interest in the measurement of workplace outcomes and workplace satisfaction has driven extensive research. There are various methods to conduct this study, and with that, a mixed method approach where qualitative and quantitative data can be best utilized. Using a survey to obtain quantitative data was best suited in compiling numerical data with an analysis of the results. By applying the review of historical data Qualitative data was examined to provide insights to the contributions of another research. As stated, Creamer described a mixed method research is a research design with philosophical assumptions as well as different methods of investigation. The survey instrument utilized in this study was produced by DeGator et al. In 2018 and was downloaded via the PsycTest database. Qualtrics was then utilized as the primary software in the creation and distribution of the survey instrument, as it created the automatically generated web link that can be distributed via social media platforms, email, and other forms of distribution. The survey consisted of 13 item statements that specifically assessed one's job resources, job demands, basic need satisfaction, strain, and performance. Of the 13 statements, participants were asked to rate the statements on a 5-point Likert scale, in which 5 equates to totally agree, to 1, which equates to totally disagree. There will also be a series of 3 open-ended questions at the end. The research allowed for 250 participants to partake in the survey that was then distributed by Amazon Mechanical Turk. Once the survey has been globally distributed, the time frame allowed for a 1-week turnaround time. The survey was created using Qualtrics, and the data was analyzed using Intellectus statistics program. Due to system errors resulting in duplication of data, the survey period was extended an additional 2 more days to achieve a more desirable population. At the close of the survey period, a grand total of 219 participants have taken and completed the survey. Out of the 219 participants, the demographics are as follows. 56% of the participants were male, which was 124 participants. 35% of them were women, which accounts for 77 participants. And a total of 18 did not answer the gender questionnaire. According to the age ranges, 57% accounted for the 25 to 34 age bracket, which was 124 participants. This implies that the 25 through 34 age bracket is the largest amongst the working class. 86% of participants work a full-time job, which accounted for 187 participants. 7% of them were part-time, which were 16 participants, and another 16 did not answer this question. It is inferred that based on the results of this study, the connection between job resources and job demands is that it has a positive effect on overall job satisfaction. When these factors increase, so does the overall performance rates increase. The data provides a clear answer towards our first research question. Job performance is affected by other variables such as job demand and job resources. Based on the results, it is also indicated that the questions related to job strain is not significant in the correlation of employee performance. Clearly, the questions relating to job demand and job resources had a notable relationship with employee performance. The results align with the literature review. However, more information and data from other variables could also benefit this research. Role stressors are appearing in organizational contexts with a greater force given the new competitive demands and transformations in companies. Many organizations have had the opportunity to investigate their employee retention efforts through various channels. A common theme of quantifying workplace fulfillment, along with the previous studies, continues to outline the thoughts of many researchers and students. Like previous studies, this study was aimed to examine the effects of workplace satisfaction. The study suggests that organizations take a more holistic approach to the goal of employee retention strategies. Through the identification of factors that contribute to the overall satisfaction of employees, an organization can determine the best course of action in terms of creating organizational development initiatives. Another recommendation would be to engage with the effect of cultural beliefs and forms of communication in the expression of workplace fulfillment. Differences in cultural communication can render a more thorough analysis of findings. Best practices for organizations is to also conduct an annual or semi-annual satisfaction survey to the entire organization. Surveys, such as the one that was used in this survey, can be best utilized as a tool to gather information on the current state of the organization. Leaders can use the information collected to get a better understanding of the expectations of their employees, and they can also focus on how to better address those issues or to gauge what type of engagement is needed. Another recommendation is to provide alternative avenues for employees to provide feedback or suggestions on their current workload. As we have identified in the study, job satisfaction decreases as job demand increases. By creating an avenue for employees to share their barriers, leaders can better utilize time and resources to effectively allocate the necessary resources in the hopes of providing better care to their staff. This quote relates heavily with the study that was conducted. Train people well enough so they can leave. Treat them well enough so they don't want to. By Sir Richard Branson of Virgin Group. I chose this quote because it really speaks volumes in regards to how this study came into fruition and how this later impacts us in the real world. I feel that organizations need to treat their staff so good and provide them with every possible resource they can have, so that the way they're satisfied, and in turn the satisfaction of the employees trickles down into more profits and productivity with the organization. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to my presentation. And this presentation template is credited by SlidesGo, including icons by Flat Icon, infographics and images by FreePic.